Fort Collins is one of the most talked about places to live in all of Colorado, but before you pack your boxes, there are things you need to know. In today's video, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of living in Fort Collins in 2026. All right, let's get into it. Let's start out with the pros of living in Fort Collins. Number one, hands down, is the outstanding quality of life. Many residents in Fort Collins regard it highly as an amazing place to live, raise a family, attend college, and the community feedback shows strong satisfaction within lifestyle and education, opportunity, environment and recreation, and overall social well-being. So all of these things combined make for a very high quality life that many residents in the area hold at a very high regard. Number two is the strong job market and economy. Fort Collins is home to a very diverse community with a blend of manufacturing, tech, entrepreneurial ventures, and small service related businesses. Major employers come in tech, healthcare, education, and clean energy sectors, supported by Colorado State University, UC Health, Advanced Energy, and Woodward. A lot of Fort Collins residents have remote jobs, so I think there is a fairly big tech industry here, but a lot of them are just remote workers. Number three is the excellent education and school system we have here in Fort Collins. Many families appreciate the well-regarded Poudre School District system that serves not only the immediate area, but surrounding areas as well, such as Wellington. Poudre School District is one of Colorado's highest rated school districts overall, with over 30 elementary schools, 8 middle schools, and 4 major high schools. It authorizes some of the state's top performing charter schools, including Liberty Common and Ridgeview Classical Schools. Poudre School District is known for its innovation, academic excellence, and emphasis on diverse learning styles, which is why so many families relocating to Fort Collins puts Poudre School Districts at the top of their list. Another thing that parents love about PSD is that we have school of choice, and so that you are able to live where you want, but while choosing the school of your choice. I went to Poudre School District myself through my whole schooling, and I can attest to the excellent academic experience, everything from the teachers to sports to just overall inclusion. It was a really great experience, grade school all the way through high school. So I can attest personally to our school district here in Fort Collins. It is really, truly something special. In addition to Poudre School District, we also have Colorado State University, which houses just over 34,000 students and brings in culture, research, and other educational opportunities. If you have any questions regarding the schools here in Fort Collins, reach out. My contact information is in the description below, or leave a comment. I'd be happy to talk with you about the schooling options. I guarantee there is something here in the area that will suit their academic needs, learning styles, as well as any sports. There is something for everybody. So reach out. Let's make sure that you get your kid into the right school where they're going to flourish and really feel supported. Okay, moving on. Number four is Fort Collins being a very safe and family-friendly town. Fort Collins consistently ranks with one of Colorado's lowest crime rates, making it ideal for families, retirees, anybody really looking for a safe environment to live in. We have very clean streets here, as well as very well lit streets. Downtown, almost every alleyway is lit up with stringing lights, making it a very safe space to walk around. You don't really have to worry about walking around late at night, looking over your shoulder. It's not that type of town. Having lived in California in a town almost very, very similar size, one of the first things that I was told was to never leave anything in the back of my car, anything that looked worth grabbing and smash and grab, things like that. In the 7 years I lived there, I had my car bashed into 3 times. I have never had my car broken into in Fort Collins, so take it for what you will. But that's just something I noticed right away, having lived in both places, similar size city, just very different vibes. But having grown up here, we never really worried about locking our front doors or car doors. It's definitely a little bit different now with more people in the city, but we have this community that really looks out for one another. and really doesn't tolerate crime. So I think between just having a very, very safe city as well as the community really looking out for each other, crime here really doesn't exist at a high level. It creates a very safe and welcoming environment. Number 5 is the outdoor lifestyle. Fort Collins has immediate access to many outdoor recreational activities, making it easy to stay healthy and fit as well as enjoy your outdoor hobbies. Whether you want to bike or hike or trail run, climb, water sports, anything like that is within very, very immediate access. I would say the only thing we don't have immediate access to would be downhill skiing. And so that, you have to drive a couple hours for. But besides that, really any outdoor activity that you can think of, we can accommodate here in the Fort Collins area. It cultivates a very healthy, fit community. Even if you're just looking for a neighborhood park to play with your kids or a dog park, Fort Collins has everything. We have so many dedicated outdoor parks, neighborhood parks, which is really just incredible. There is probably something in Fort Collins or within the immediate surrounding area. Number 6 is the vibrant local culture. Fort Collins has one of the most unique cultures I have ever experienced, which is really neat. We cultivate community in the area. We get together for many festivals, parades, live music, farmers markets, concerts, and it just creates and contributes to this really welcoming community in the area. The city of Fort Collins does a neat job putting events on all year long. There's something for everybody and something every weekend. There are many distinct social circles within the community itself. So you could join a trail running group or a paddleboarding group, a mountain biking group, but you can join social networks such as crafting circle or book club, gaming clubs, a walking club, women's circles, men's circles. We just have so many different communities within the community itself. We also have a very strong LGBTQ plus community, so there really is something for everybody. It is incredibly inclusive. Having a social network and community where you feel accepted and seen is so important to making sure that you feel like you belong. If you have questions or are interested in any of the communities within Fort Collins, leave a comment below. I'd be happy to put you in contact with anybody in any social network to make sure you have the support and community that you need if you're thinking about moving here. Number 7 is the walking and bike friendly community. Fort Collins is known for its bike infrastructure. We have over 270 miles of trails in the city, and they are well used and well loved. Fort Collins is a cycling hub. People not only do it for recreation and hobby, but they use it as a mode of transportation for work and running errands, getting groceries, things like that. So it is not just a leisurely hobby for some. It is a mode of transportation that people choose as well. So we share our roads with cyclists. And if that's not something you enjoy, Fort Collins is maybe not the spot for you. We respect our cyclists, give them room on the road, and share our roads. As well as the walking community, the infrastructure on the city is very walker friendly. There are sidewalks on all roads within the city limits, making it very easy to walk around neighborhoods and get from one point to another. Now that we have gone over the pros of living in Fort Collins in 2026, I'm going to pivot to the cons of living in Fort Collins. So I wish I could talk about the pros all day long, but unfortunately, we do have some cons about living here. There are many great things, but the reality is it's not perfect. First and foremost is the high cost of living. You pay a premium to live within Fort Collins. It's due to the quality of life, immediate access to outdoors, recreational parks, incredible school systems, good job market, the incredible community that we have here, and the culture that you just will not find in surrounding cities. With that being said, it definitely contributes to a high cost of living. People here are willing to pay higher prices to enjoy that life and quality of life. Housing prices are going to be higher, rents are going to be higher. Gas and groceries are about the same as anywhere else you'd really find in Colorado, so that doesn't change. Again, it's just mostly housing prices. So there are surrounding areas outside of Fort Collins that are less expensive: Wellington, Severance, Loveland, Johnstown, Longmont. While these communities are lower prices, you will not find the same amount of amenities. There will be a different community feel in the towns. They tend to be further away from outdoor recreation. If those things don't weigh as heavy when you're considering your home options, those may be really great areas for you. But again, within the city itself, Fort Collins definitely does have a higher cost of living. Number two is the traffic and growth pressures that the city has felt since we've had such a fast expansion. And so, due to the high influx of people within the last 5 to 10 years, the city hasn't been able to keep up on the infrastructure for the roads as well as housing. And so, you will notice congestion on the roads, especially during rush hour, heading west to east, getting out to the interstate, as well as heading north to south. A lot of the traffic at night goes out east as well as down south to outlying areas, but unfortunately we just haven't been able to keep up with the road infrastructure needed to house all of these new residents. Number three is Fort Collins' lack of public transit. If you are coming from a big city with many public transit options, this might be a shock to you. We do have a bus system here that is free for Fort Collins residents, but it is not very well used, unfortunately. It is pretty underutilized. That is where our public transportation ends. We don't have any subways or above ground rail systems. Denver does have the light rail, which is nice. We don't have any cab systems here or anything like that. We do have Uber and Lyft, which are pretty reliable in the area, especially with all the students. A lot of them drive on the weekends and things like that. But our public transit system is pretty lacking for the size of the community, I will say. And so while I think they have some options in the works to expand our public transit system, it is pretty limited here. Number four is our seasonal weather changes. Fort Collins does have 4 distinct seasons. Each season kind of brings their own unique set of challenges. While the springtime is very beautiful, things start blooming, we also tend to get very high winds in the area that come off of the mountains and blow up dust and pollen. People with allergies can really feel it during the season. I've known people who have never had allergies in their life move to the area and develop allergies. That's something to consider. In the summertime, unfortunately, we do have times of drought and wildfire risk. For the most part, our summers typically range anywhere from like high 70s to mid to high 90s. We have some days in triple digits. I think we had a few more than normal last summer. It was a little bit warmer than normal. So our summers kind of come with, again, maybe some poor air quality due to the wildfires and that risk, as well as droughts. And so again, watering your lawn might not be available to you and things like that. And then during the winter, we typically have 55 inches of snowfall. This winter is quite a bit different. We are starting to see more of a mild winter pattern in recent years, but typically we do get snow on the Front Range. This can, cause driving issues, increase commuting times, accidents if you're not used. And so just keeping that in mind as well, you will have to probably drive in the snow if you do have a job where you commute, as well as it can make travel hard for many people. So, plane delays, things like that. And so just keeping that in mind if you are thinking about moving here. And then finally, just being prepared for almost all 4 seasons in any given day, especially in the spring and even in the wintertime. We can experience all 4 seasons in one day. You might wake up, it might start raining, and then it might start snowing, and then by 4 o'clock, it could be beautiful and blue sky again. We have temperature swings here up to 50 degrees sometimes in a single day. A lot of Coloradoans, make sure that they bring appropriate attire, they wear layers, things like that. And so just keeping that in mind, the weather challenges here can be pretty brutal for some. Okay, number 5 is the limited nightlife and late night scene as well. And so if you are used to a larger city, Denver, you will notice a change when you come to Fort Collins. We do have stuff going on all the time here in town. There's usually always something going on downtown, live music, comedy shows, pretty much many things. But we don't have a ton of late night clubs or nightlife in the area. Bars typically close at 2. There's not, to my knowledge, any after hour bars or anything like that. So if you want late night, you'll probably have to go down to Denver for after hour entertainment. Number 6 is something that surprises many clients: the lack of diversity in Fort Collins. Some people note that the demographic mix here is less diverse than bigger urban areas, which influences cultural offerings and experiences, culinary options as well. If you really want to raise your kids in a very rich, diverse, culturally mixed area, this is probably not the spot for you. Denver, there is a lot more cultures and diversity, but unfortunately up here, there's not a ton of different demographics. Okay, the last con of living in Fort Collins in 2026 is the distance to the airport. So if you are somebody who travels a lot for either work or pleasure, you might find the distance to the airport pretty inconvenient. While it has gotten better in recent years with the expansion of E470, which is more direct access to the airport, but it is a toll road. Not everybody opts for that. It can be anywhere from just over an hour to an hour and a half. If there's any delays, construction, or rush hour traffic, it can be upwards of an hour and a half to 2 hours. You have to take into consideration if you are traveling to the airport a lot, because when you get home from your vacation, you still have to drive home. There are a lot of areas and communities closer to the airport. So if that is something that is important to you, to have that close proximity to the airport, Fort Collins might not be your spot. Those are the pros and cons of living in Fort Collins in 2026. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. My contact information is in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.